Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
The story of Netflix is very interesting, but things almost happened very differently. Many years ago, Netflix was a small company. It sent DVDs to people by mail. The company was losing money. It was close to closing. The bosses of Netflix went to Blockbuster. Blockbuster was a very big company with thousands of video shops. Netflix asked Blockbuster to buy their small company. They asked for $50 million, but the boss of Blockbuster laughed at them. He said he wouldn't buy Netflix. Now think about today. Blockbuster does not exist anymore. All its shops are closed, but Netflix is huge. It is one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world. It is worth more than $200 billion. It has won many important awards. Netflix completely changed how people watch movies and TV shows at home. How did this happen? How did a small company that Blockbuster laughed at become so big and successful? Netflix beat Blockbuster. It changed the world of entertainment. But the story does not end there. Today, Netflix is very successful, but it also has big problems. New companies are competing with Netflix. Fewer people are joining Netflix. Some people are leaving. The company's value went down a lot. People are asking questions. Is Netflix in trouble? Could Netflix fail like Blockbuster did? This is a story about big ideas and big risks. It is about how a small DVD company grew and changed everything. It is also about the new problems Netflix has now. How did Netflix start? How did it beat Blockbuster? Why is it facing difficulties today? Let's find out. 2. A small start. Mark Randolph wanted to start a business on the internet. He saw Amazon was doing very well selling books online. He thought this was a good chance to make a new business. But he did not know what kind of business to start. He wrote down many ideas in a notebook. He showed them to his friend, Reed Hastings. Mark had ideas like selling special surfboards or dog food, but Reed always said no. Reed said they needed an idea where customers would pay again and again. He also said they should not sell things that needed changing for each customer. That makes a business hard to grow. Mark suggested renting movies. Reed thought about it. Maybe renting movies online was a good idea, but there was a problem. In 1997, people watched movies on VHS tapes. These tapes were big. It cost a lot to mail them and they could break easily in the mail. Renting VHS tapes online seemed too difficult. A few weeks later, Reed read about something new: DVDs. DVDs were small and light. It was cheap to mail them. They only needed one stamp that cost 32 cents. DVDs were also cheaper to buy than VHS tapes. Mark and Reed thought this could work. They hoped that many people would start using DVDs instead of VHS tapes. Their business plan was simple. They would buy many DVDs. People could go to their website and choose a movie to rent for a small price. Netflix would mail the DVD to the customer. The customer watched the movie. Then they put the DVD in a special envelope that was already paid for and mailed it back. Now they needed money. Reed had money from another business he had before. Mark did not have much money, so he asked his mother. She invested money to help her son. This investment later made her very rich. Mark and Reed got a small office. They did not spend much money. They used cheap tables and old chairs. They hired a small team of people. These workers did not get paid a lot at first, but they were promised stock options. This meant they could own a part of the company and make money if Netflix became successful. They needed a name for the company. At first, the team did not like Netflix. They thought Flix sounded cheap. They suggested names like Luna or Cinema Center, but they wanted a name that mixed the internet and movies. Netflix did this. It was also short, so they chose the name Netflix. The team worked hard for the next few months. They built the Netflix website. They also bought copies of every DVD they could find. At that time, DVDs were new, so there were only about 800 different movies available. Netflix bought them all. They were finally ready to show Netflix to the world. 3. Sending DVDs. The day Netflix started, the small team was very nervous. They did not know if people would use their new website. At 9 o'clock in the morning, the website went live. A bell rang in the office every time someone placed an order. First, Mark Randolph ordered a movie. Then, real customers started ordering. The bell rang again and again. To get these first customers, the Netflix team went onto websites for movie fans. They wrote messages like they were normal people talking about the new Netflix service. This helped bring people to the website. Mark went to talk to newspapers to get more attention for Netflix. For 15 good minutes, orders came in. Then the bell stopped. The website stopped working because too many people visited it. The team did not have enough computer servers for so many visitors. Someone had to run to a shop to buy more servers. Soon, the website worked again, but it crashed again 45 minutes later. The team also ran out of boxes to send the DVDs. They ran out of ink to print the addresses. It was a busy and difficult first day, but they got 137 orders. In the first month, Netflix made $94,000, but there was a problem. Most of the money came from selling DVDs, not renting them. People could buy a DVD for about $25 or rent it for $4. Almost everyone chose to buy. Netflix wanted people to rent. They could rent the same DVD many times and make more money. Selling DVDs would not work for a long time because bigger shops would start selling them too. Then Jeff Bezos, the boss of Amazon, called. Amazon wanted to start selling DVDs. Jeff Bezos thought about buying Netflix. This could be good for Netflix because they would get money, but Mark and Reed did not want to sell their company. They believed renting DVDs online was a big idea. They said no to Amazon. Instead, they made a plan with Amazon. Netflix stopped selling DVDs. If someone wanted to buy a DVD on the Netflix website, Netflix sent them to Amazon. Amazon promised to send people who wanted to rent DVDs to Netflix. Netflix hoped this partnership would help them focus only on rentals. Netflix needed more renters, so they tried promotions. One idea was to give free rentals to people who bought new DVD players from shops like Sony. But this was a disaster. The code numbers for the free rentals were on the outside of the DVD player boxes. People found the codes in shops without buying the players. They got 10 free DVDs without paying. Netflix lost a lot of money. Also, people who got the free DVDs did not become paying customers. Next, Netflix tried another idea to get attention. They offered DVDs of Bill Clinton talking about a big news story for only 2 cents. Many newspapers wrote about it, and lots of people visited the website. But the company making the DVDs made a mistake. They mixed some adult movies with the Clinton DVDs. Netflix sent the wrong movies to some customers by accident. They had to say sorry. These promotions did not bring paying customers. Netflix was losing a lot of money. The Amazon partnership was not sending many renters either. Things looked bad. 4. A new plan. Things were not going well for Netflix. Reed Hastings worried about Mark Randolph. Reed felt Mark was making bad choices about money and hiring people. Reed talked to Mark. He showed Mark a presentation on his computer about the company's problems. Reed said he wanted to be the CEO. He asked Mark to be the president instead. Mark was angry and sad. Reed was his friend, but Mark knew Reed was right. Reed had more experience running a company. Mark agreed. Reed became the new CEO of Netflix. Mark was still important, but Reed was now the main leader. This change did not fix everything. Netflix was still losing money. They needed more customers who rented DVDs regularly. Mark went for a run to think. While running, he had a big idea. What if customers paid a fixed price every month? They could get 4 DVDs at one time. When they finished watching one DVD, they could send it back and get another one. There would be no return dates and no extra money to pay if they were late. This was different from Blockbuster. With Netflix's new plan, customers could always have movies at home. They did not need to wait for a DVD to arrive in the mail each time. Mark told Reed his idea. Reed loved it. They changed Netflix to this new subscription plan. It was very popular. On the first day, 90% of people who visited the website signed up. At the same time, DVD players became cheaper to buy. More people owned DVD players, so more people were interested in Netflix. The company started to grow quickly. Many new customers joined every month. Because customers paid every month, Netflix started making more money. Netflix also created a special computer program called Cinematch. This program helped customers find movies they might like. Netflix asked customers to give stars to movies they watched. 1 star meant they did not like it. 5 stars meant they loved it. Cinematch used this information to suggest other movies. This helped Netflix keep customers happy. It also helped Netflix suggest movies that were not brand new, which cost the company less money. It seemed like Netflix finally had a good plan. The company was growing fast. But then, a big problem happened. Many internet companies started to lose money very quickly. This was called the dot-com crash. Suddenly, it was very hard for internet companies like Netflix to get money from investors. Netflix needed money to keep growing, but now the money stopped. 5. Fighting the big shop. Netflix was still a small company compared to Blockbuster. In the year 2000, Netflix made about $5 million. Blockbuster made almost $800 million just from late fees. Blockbuster had around 60,000 workers and many shops. Netflix was like David fighting Goliath. Then, the dot-com crash happened. This was bad for internet companies. It became very hard for Netflix to get money from investors, but Netflix needed money to grow quickly. They worried that Blockbuster would soon copy their DVD by mail idea. Without more money, Netflix could not compete. Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph had an idea. Maybe Blockbuster would buy Netflix. They thought it could be good for both companies. Netflix could use Blockbuster's money and size. Blockbuster could quickly start its own online business. Reed arranged a meeting with the Blockbuster CEO. At the meeting, Reed and Mark explained their plan. The Blockbuster CEO listened, but he did not believe online businesses like Netflix were strong. He asked how much they wanted for Netflix. Reed said $50 million. The Blockbuster CEO laughed. He thought the price was a joke, especially after the dot-com crash. Blockbuster said no. Reed and Mark felt terrible. They knew Blockbuster did not want to help them. Now Netflix had to fight Blockbuster alone. It was clear. Netflix had to find a way to beat the giant company. Because money was hard to get, Netflix had to make a difficult choice. They let go of about 1/3 of their workers. This was sad, but something interesting happened. The company seemed to work better with fewer people. Only the best employees stayed. Netflix became stronger and more focused. To get the money they needed, Netflix had an IPO in 2002. An IPO means a company starts selling shares to the public. This helped Netflix raise money for the big fight ahead. Blockbuster saw that Netflix was becoming a real competitor, especially after the IPO. So in 2004, Blockbuster launched its own DVD by mail service. It was almost the same as Netflix's service. The direct competition between Netflix and Blockbuster started. Around this time, Mark Randolph, one of the founders, decided to leave Netflix. He missed the early days when the company was small. Reed Hastings stayed as CEO to lead the fight against Blockbuster. Reed knew the fight would be hard. Blockbuster was much bigger and had more money. Reed decided Netflix must focus only on its main business, renting movies. They stopped trying many different small ideas. Blockbuster, however, started trying new things like renting video games. Netflix stayed focused, ready for the battle. 6. Watching online. Netflix was sending out over 1 million DVDs every day. But the company knew DVDs were not the future. The internet was getting faster. People could download things more easily. So Netflix looked ahead. In 2007, they started something new, streaming. This meant people could watch movies and TV shows directly on their computers using the internet. They did not need to wait for DVDs in the mail. At first, the number of movies and shows available online was small. Netflix continued its DVD rental service too. Watching online was just an extra thing for customers. Netflix needed movies and shows for its new streaming service. Because streaming was very new, it was cheap to get permission to show content. Netflix made a good deal with a company called Starz. For $20 million, they got the rights to show many popular movies, like ones from Disney and Sony. Netflix also worked with companies like Microsoft and Sony. This meant people could watch Netflix on their game machines like Xbox and PlayStation, and other devices connected to their TVs. Before, Netflix only worked in the United States because sending DVDs to other countries was difficult. But streaming used the internet. So now, Netflix could easily offer its service in countries all around the world. Netflix also wanted to help people find movies they would like. They used a computer program to suggest movies. To make this program better, Netflix started a contest in 2007. It was called the Netflix Prize. They offered $1 million to anyone who could improve their suggestion program the most. This helped Netflix get a better program, and it was also good advertising. While Netflix was trying new things, Blockbuster made mistakes. Blockbuster stopped charging late fees like Netflix, but they made a new rule. If a customer kept a movie for more than 1 week late, Blockbuster charged them the full price to buy the movie. Customers did not like this. They felt Blockbuster was trying to take their money. People liked Netflix more because it was easy and fair. More and more customers chose Netflix, especially with the new streaming service. Blockbuster lost money and customers. In 2010, Blockbuster went bankrupt. It had no money left and had to close almost all its shops. Why did Netflix win? Netflix was faster to change when technology changed. They focused on their main business, renting movies and shows. Blockbuster was too slow. It had too many real shops, and it did not change quickly enough for the internet age. Netflix looked to the future, but Blockbuster stayed in the past. 7. Making own shows. Netflix beat Blockbuster, but soon they had a new problem. In 2011, Netflix made a big mistake. They decided to split the company into two parts. One part was for streaming movies online. The other part was for sending DVDs by mail. This DVD part got a new name, Qwixter. Customers did not like this change. Before, they paid $10 each month for both streaming and DVDs. Now they had to use two different websites. And the price went up. It cost $8 for streaming and $8 for DVDs. That was $16 in total for both. This happened during a difficult time for the economy. Many people did not have much money. Customers were very angry about the higher price and the confusing change. About 1 million people stopped using Netflix. The company quickly saw it was a bad idea. They stopped Qwixter and put everything back together on the Netflix website. The boss, Reed Hastings, later said it was the company's biggest mistake. After this, Netflix faced another challenge. Streaming was popular, but Netflix did not own the movies and TV shows. They paid other companies to show them. This is called licensing. Licensing was risky. The other companies could stop Netflix from showing their content anytime. Also, new streaming services were starting. This meant it cost more money to license popular shows. Netflix needed a new plan. They decided to make their own original shows and movies. This was a big and expensive idea. Making TV shows costs a lot of money. In 2011, a manager named Ted Sarandos found a show called House of Cards. Netflix spent $100 million to make it. This was a huge risk. But when House of Cards came out in 2013, it was a very big success. Many people loved it. This success changed Netflix's plan. They started making many more original shows and movies. Having their own content meant other streaming services could not copy them easily. It also meant they did not have to worry about losing licenses. Netflix spent more and more money on original content each year. In 2021, they spent $17 billion. Netflix used information about what users watched. This data helped them decide which new shows to create. Because Netflix was in many countries, a show made in one place could become popular everywhere. A good example is the Korean show Squid Game. It became a hit all around the world. To make these changes and create good content, Netflix built a special company culture. They try to hire only the very best people. They pay high salaries. Managers use a keeper test. If a manager would not fight to keep an employee, that employee might lose their job, but they get good money when they leave. Netflix gives employees a lot of freedom and responsibility. They have rules like act in Netflix's best interests for spending money. They also believe in radical honesty, meaning people give very direct feedback. But this culture can cause problems too. Some workers might be afraid to take holidays, or company secrets might get shared outside. Some say it creates a culture of fear. This unique culture helped Netflix change and grow, but it also had its difficulties. 8. Big problems now. Netflix was very successful, but now it has big problems. Many other companies started their own streaming services. This is called the streaming wars. Big companies like Disney, Apple, and Amazon now compete with Netflix. This competition created problems. These companies took their shows and movies off Netflix. They wanted people to watch on their own services. So Netflix lost popular shows like The Office and Friends. It also lost movies from Disney and Marvel. This made some customers unhappy. In 2022, something bad happened. Netflix lost subscribers. It was the first time this happened in 10 years. Many people stopped paying for Netflix. Because of this news, the company's stock price went down very fast. The company lost a lot of value, about $50 billion in just a few days. Netflix needed new plans to make money. One idea was to stop people sharing their passwords with friends or family in different homes. Netflix once said sharing passwords was okay, but now they changed their mind. Another idea was to offer a cheaper plan. This cheaper plan would show advertisements. Some people did not like these ideas. It reminded them of Blockbuster. Blockbuster tried to get more money from customers in ways people did not like, instead of making the service better. People also started to criticize Netflix more. Some said Netflix spent too much money making shows, like $17 billion in 1 year. They said Netflix made too many shows, but not always good shows. Netflix also canceled some popular shows too early before the story finished. This made fans angry. So, is Netflix going to fail like Blockbuster? Maybe not. Netflix is still the biggest streaming service in the world. It has around 220 million subscribers. There were reasons why subscribers went down. Netflix stopped its service in Russia, losing 700,000 subscribers. Also, after the pandemic, people watched less TV. And because prices for everything were going up, some people canceled Netflix to save money. The competition for Netflix is not just other streaming services. Netflix also competes for people's time. People spend time watching TikTok or YouTube videos. They play video games like Fortnite. The boss of Netflix said Netflix competes more with Fortnite than with other TV companies for people's viewing hours. These other platforms are very popular, especially with younger people. TikTok gets videos for free from users, but Netflix spends billions. The future for Netflix is not clear. The company faces big challenges. But Netflix has changed many times before. It changed from DVDs to streaming, and then to making its own shows. Maybe Netflix can change again and find a way to succeed.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.